see what he's going to get his hands on. He's played Sett a whole bunch. I have to think Sett is still going to be a high priority champion for this particular player. And it was the champion that helped them take down OG.
Yeah,
right? Both of these teams beat OG. And that's just an interesting fact. Now we're going to see who's going to win today, Misfits or SK.
Yeah, and getting into this draft is going to be a lot of fun too, because we already saw our first little, taste of 10-12 here. Things look very similar. We're still seeing first pick Trundle, we're seeing Varus bans, even after the nerfs. Still feels like these teams are very much in agreement. Trundle, it's gone.
Yeah.
We want it out of there. Again, move speed nerfs, not going to mean too much of a difference there.
And there's the Varus gone once again. So Yuumi, the likes of Aphelios, let's see what else is happening. Limit will lose access to his Thresh. It was the Ezreal Thresh combination in game one, day one for SKOG that was very, very impactful. Kalista taken out as well. Actually, when you zoom out and you think about it just a little bit more, the dual lanes can really make or break this entire game. I think in the mid lane, FEBIVEN should have an advantage over ZaZee in almost every matchup, IMO. But really, Crownshot or Kobbe, if you can unlock one of those guys...
Don't say IMO IRL,
why not?
dude. Come on.
That's what it means. People know what it means.
Okay.
Do you youths know what IMO means?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking, Zuma. The last ban is going to be Syndra here for Misfits Gaming. SK have one option left. So, what do you think? Yuumi makes it through? Does that raise priority, if that's even ban-worthy?
I mean, if you don't ban Yuumi, yes. I mean, Yuumi gets banned away. So I was going to say, if you don't ban Yuumi, then it's probably going to be like a first pick Ezreal, and then SK probably just let them have the combo and trade for something like that Aphelios. Now, Aphelios and Ezreal both left open. I'm in the camp that it's Aphelios all day long. Misfits seem to be in agreement there, so I like that a lot coming through for Kobbe.
Well, let's see then when... What is the answer, right? How do you decide, or what do you decide to play against this Aphelios? When I take a look at Kobbe, this will be his first Aphelios of the split. He's still played 4 unique champions. Ezreal, no surprise whatsoever. It is definitely a bit of a pocket pick for Crownshot and the Azir as well. Do you like this blind?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very early Azir here, which makes me think they're really trying to find support counter pick, because otherwise you just take whatever you're running alongside the Ezreal, whether or not that's going to be, a melee engage style support, or with the Yuumi banned away. We've seen Limit, I believe, on the Karma. Or no, that was actually Jenax that played the Karma for the team. But like, these are the options you would go for. So, I mean, FEBIVEN has a wide array of different options you can go for here. The FEBIVEN style would probably go for like a melee mid laner that can dive on top of him, but of course you can also try to outrange the Azir with a couple of longer range mage options.
Has played Zoe this split as well. FEBIVEN out of the 3 games, 2 Azirs, 1 Zoe under his belt. Will hold his mid lane pick for now. And so it's going to be the Nautilus as well as the Lee Sin. So we've got our bot lane set up. We've got our jungler locked in. Sett is still open and available for SK. And again, 2 out of 3 games.
Yes. I mean, it's a lot of comfort here for SK, at least what they showed us in week 1. And I think a lot of people love Sett at the moment, especially when you see Lee Sin on the other side, because Lee Sin tries to do his kick things. He thinks he's into martial arts, and then Sett's like, nope, picking you up, slamming you down. It's a really, really good option there. And of course, with the movement options, the Hex Flash and whatnot, like Sett's ganks and his repeat ganks look very good.
It's great seeing Jez's on screen right now. For those of you who don't know, he's moved over from LDLC to join SK Gaming between EU Masters, and now he helped LDLC win EU Masters. And we've already seen a noticeable improvement with SK Gaming in terms of their decision-making in game, and now we get to see a good litmus test against slightly stronger opponents.
Didn't he also do the same thing the year before with the Misfits team that was in EU Masters? He's just like racking up titles. I
stand to be corrected. I believe Misfits, I can say for certain, has won 3 EU Masters, 1 personally, 2 coaching. I believe it's actually 4, and I can't remember the 4th team right now. But much like Youngbuck used to be the 6-star general, and obviously I lost a few. Jess has played for Origin in the very first EU, and that's 3. LDLC, Misfits. I can't remember the 4th. Nevertheless,
I don't know. He's good.
Fantastic performance. Mord is banned away. GP's banned away. LeBlanc is banned away in phase 2, and Misfits have got 1 ban left to go. Let's see where this is going to go.
Okay, so this Mordekaiser ban is one that stands out in my mind because there's two routes I could see that setting up for. Of course, we've seen Mordekaiser's a pretty good answer into the Ornn up in the top lane, but also back in week 1, remember G2 rocking the Mordekaiser up against the Wukong as a very good 1 versus 1 matchup. So curious to see which direction Dan goes. You know, they already have some engage options with the Nautilus. They don't necessarily need the beefiest of front lines here, and depending on whether or not SK is going to reveal what Jenax is picked for, Dan could go for the dump.
I like this actually. Leona long-range engage, it's non-committal. If it doesn't hit, Azir and Sett don't run in. If it does, well then you giga throw everything at them.
Yeah.
Ezreal Leona is an interesting duo as well, some kill pressure. I like this.
Yeah, this is a fun option too, especially when you look to roam, because Jenax on this Ezreal is going to be pretty safe down in that bottom lane. You can free up Limit to go wherever he wants on the map and make plays happen.
You called it. You called it, Ender. You knew that FEBIVEN likes to play those melee mid-range, melee mid-laners into the Azir. And also another quick thing, there's not a lot of peel here, right? So if Leona does get a long-range engage onto Aphelios, there are some options to jump onto him. And now
I want the
Wukong,
monkey. I want the monkey,
Wukong.
Trevor.
I mean, Aatrox banned, Wukong banned,
yeah.
And there we go. The Nimbus Cloak-fying monkey is in. Do it! Yes!
Excellent.
We have a monkey versus a bear in the top lane. That is it. Dunzo. LEC Safari needs to come back and watch the monkey versus the bear.
Who wins in that fight? I feel like
we're gonna find out.
Okay.
They just locked in. We haven't seen it happen yet.
I'm pretty sure Bear's like 3 times the size of the monkey, especially when he ults. So looking pretty good for that one. And also, I can tell you, I've seen a lot of this matchup. I was talking about in the last game, you know, Volibear. I was watching a lot of Bwipo stream to sort of figure out, you know, the ins and outs of that champion in lane. Let me tell you, I've seen this matchup probably like 5 or 6 times played from both ends for Bwipo, and Volibear looks really, really good in the laning phase into this champion.
It is a brand new look Volibear. It is the first of the rework here in EU, and the first time we've seen it since 2019. It was played 3 times as a support counter to Yuumi. Never in European history has Volibear been played top. So we have it here first ever.
See,
top lane.
That's funny, Trevor, because I have distinct memories of amazing Volibear.
SK, hold that thought. We love Volibear.
Thanks, Trevor.
Eight years of doing this job and I forget my microphone is live. What was that?
I was just trying to insert, you know, a funny little, you know, note there. I was like, I remember some EU Volibear. I think Amazing played that at one point or another over in North America. But SK on the prowl, level 1, and they're going to walk over wood, and that's going to shut stuff down.
Top lane. That was it. First top lane. Nevertheless, hunting's not going to work out here. Limit as well as Crownshot going to start making their way back to lane and see what happens in terms of shenanigans. Okay, so let's talk. One thing that, okay, go.
I was gonna I just rather talk about this champion because you can already see. Looks like he started with the E there at level 1, which of course is that ranged ability that gives you the shield as well. And I'm trying to get into the client so I can like show you guys all the fun stuff, but it's getting all messed up on my end. So forget that. Anyways, this E really nice to take at level 1. So the cooldown is pretty long, I believe 15 seconds for him. But what it means is you take really good trades when you walk up to the wave and go for CS. You also saw him scouting out some brush right here. So Trick will be spotted starting on the red buff here at level 1, but I do want to keep our eyes on Volibear inside of the laning phase because he also gets a lot of sustain there from his W. So his trading patterns are very, very strong, especially up into this Wukong.
Yeah, definitely the case. And just very quickly to set some expectations on how well SK played last week, they had a plus 900 gold difference at 15 minutes. They had a team decile second lowest at 0.7, and very impressively to me, 32% of all game time played was with a major lead in week 1. It was very impressive 2-1 performance from this squad, and now we get to see what they do again They've got that Sett, they've got the Volibear, they've got a different look in the Leona, and we can already see some trading here between Jenax and Dan. Dan's backing away.
Yeah, so Jenax sits level 2 and obviously gets full control. The other great thing about Volibear is starting from level 1, you have that insane passive, which stacks up attack speed and those lightning bolts on your auto attacks, akin to sort of like a Kale passive or an Aurelia passive where you get attack speed just for hitting things consecutively, and that looks very good for him. So he walks in, he says, hey, blue buff isn't here. That means Razork started on the top side of the map. That means he's running away from me. He's going towards the bottom side, which of course gives his bot lane great information, but also means Jenax can continue to play very far forward in this lane and maintain pressure, just knocking these waves in towards the tower.
All right, keep Dan on the back foot. Huge damage trade. Jenax is going to continue to chase him down. 200 HP left, and Dan is already in trouble.
Yeah, so the thing about Volibear is that when he's able to repeatedly cast W on you, that's on a 5-second cooldown again, you get, much more bonus damage. You get sustain off of it as well. And you see Volibear actually, funnily enough, going for the Doran's Ring, which we have seen popping up. This is because he does have a lot of AP ratios, both on the passive lightning bolts as well as that ranged E. So this has been something that has been a lot more popular here on the Baron. You can see working out quite well inside the landing phase already, as he can just use the shield to tank up the tower shot.
Yeah, definitely is. Dan is now going to be farming relatively well. He's lost 3 or 4 CS there under tower, despite a lot of pressure from Jenax, but crucially has lost all of his sustain. Crownshot is now in the bottom lane, and we're looking at the vision. As you can see, Limit is sidestepped. We don't know where he is, and that's because Trick has walked in. He's going to flash forward, get the pullback, and Doss will find himself in a blue screen as he's just taken out. I mean, that was just a good engage by Trick.
Oh, okay. I'm not a fan of Trick's flash right there. I'm pretty sure he was trying to catch Kobbe as well with the flash because he was in range for Doss with the CC coming through, but I do like the gank idea right there coming through from Trick to be able to find that first blood.
Did the skill shot go awry?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, I caught that. I was like, I'm in the middle of praising and I couldn't pivot as the sand just went the other way. But
I appreciate you're sort of like the glass half full guy, and I'm like, no, that glass is just empty, man.
Look at it this way. First blood secured. It does go to Trick as well, which I don't think you mind too much on a champion like Sett. It's now unlocked Limit. He's taken a move back as Kobbe will stand toe-to-toe with a pushing wave from Crownshot. And now Doss is going to try support here as well.
Yeah, Doss coming around mid lane. There's a stacking wave here for FEBIVEN, who's 50% HP, so I don't think this gank is, the idea is let's get a kill, but rather guard FEBIVEN while he is going to be in a little bit of trouble, knowing Limit also had taken a reset, so was going to be pathing around towards this middle lane. So this is actually a really nice move from Doss. Again, it doesn't always have to be about going offensive, but rather it can be just setting up your teammates for success, and as you saw right there, he tried to walk in and clear away that ward. Now, it's a little bit sketchy because neither jungler is around that bottom side of the river, so Doss could have been jumped upon, assuming that he knew Trick was topside, and that's why he actually entered in towards the river there. But while he did that, Limit did get some nice deep wards around the Krug area. And
of course, I have to point out the fact that despite a skill shot going awry from Trick, his Sett performances have been very good. I spoke to Aphelios about the loss that they suffered, and he actually was pleasantly surprised. Well, I say pleasantly. He was surprised at how much impact Trick was able to have on this champion. 4 games played on the stage. This is the 3rd time that he's playing this set. He's already found an impact early on, and this could be one of the difference makers. Trick last split did not have this regularity in finding early game impacts, and it's in the lane that you and I both were saying, get Crownshot ahead, unlock Crowny, and that is what SK can look to do to win.
Yeah, and of course this champion going to be very effective in this game into so many of the picks that Misfits actually won for you. We said in the draft how it could shut down Lee Sin very well, but same thing can be said about Akali. She has to be very mindful of when she dives into the backline, needs to make sure a lot of spells are on cooldown because like Leona's got a whole lot of CCs, Trick of course has that ultimate too, so this is not the easiest game for FEBIVEN to play in the team fights, and that's where FEBIVEN's going to be coming in from one side, Dan needs to be coming in from another. They need to try to split up SK in order to win out in a 5 versus 5.
So vision important, coordination, make sure they've got the timing correct as well, and likely wave management. So easy task for Misfits /S. Nevertheless, SK will start off the first dragon here fairly early on, 6.5 minutes on the clock, so before even any potential like Herald swaps, as we get close to 8, something we still see fairly common. Ocean Drake is the option right now, and I want to do another check-in. Level 6s have been picked up. Jenax in the top lane is 15, 16 CS up. Ender, can you talk to me a little bit about skill order that you do see from the likes of Volibear?
Yeah, so Volibear in this game is going to be maxing the W. I have seen a little bit of Q maxes coming around. Of course, you know, it does give you the spell just buffed in general, but Volibear is interesting because neither is E or W scale down their cooldown based on ranks in the skill, which is very abnormal for a champion to have multiple ones of those, and that's where the Q max has seen a little bit more prevalence, but I really like the W max when it comes to just slamming inside of lane, because we already said when you get repetitive Ws off within a fight, you are pretty unbeatable within those. Jenax has also opted into going for press the attack, which I really, really like. His W applies on hit effect, so like auto Q W, that's going to instantly pop that one, and he can unload a lot of damage. On top of that, it looks like he's going to be going towards some sort of a phage item, which says to me this could be the Trinity Force Bear, which I, again, really like for the 1v1 items, and after that, probably going to see him go much more down the route of survivability, tankiness, and just target access, whether or not that could be like a Righteous Glory or a Dead Man's Plate. Those types of items seem to work quite well on him.
Oh, it's very exciting. Combo that with Sett and then Leona. I mean, there's a lot of champions that just want to run at you, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the SK response. Misfits definitely would have wished they had Azir right now. A little bit of Emperor's Divide disengage, and maybe we can get a feeling as to why that Azir was locked in so early in the draft, as it could be one of the great tools against us. Nevertheless, DOS will step forward, puts down a control ward that is instantaneously cleared out. There is some support from Kobbe and Razork, as FEBIVEN is now under a little bit of pressure mid, but a numbers advantage to Misfits for now.
Yeah, some calls have been going down here as Crownshot was wondering maybe he can walk down towards the bottom lane. Instead, it looks like Hex Flash going to be channeled for Trick. Will not result in the kill, but there's a flash forward.
Yeah, Flash Zenith Blade catches onto Razork. Not the most exciting exchange, as he can just ward hop to safety.
I mean, it was very exciting. It was just kind of random and didn't result in much. Now, of course, Limit going to be down the Flash as well, which could be a big deal. And you can see everyone's sort of running up towards this Herald. Everyone is obsessed with this objective at the moment, and Dan could teleport in if needed.
Yeah, he absolutely can. There's the teleport coming down from Dan, but the Herald is already killed. Blast Cone over the wall. ZaZee is going to step backwards, and FEBIVEN gets blown up. He's instantaneously stunned. On the back end, though, Kobbe's trying to do work he can. Dan is spinning, but he's not winning. The explosions come down. DOS and Razork are running for their lives, and here comes Kobbe. Continues to chase, flashes away, gets one extra auto on the tower.
Oh,
ZaZee manages to fly forward with the Emperor's Divide, double to Jenax.
Oh, that was clean right there, coming over the wall and getting the kills. That's why you picked the Azir right there, Trevor. You can make plays like that, and you can destroy inside of those team fights. SK showed how good their comp can be against what Misfits had. I mean, FEBIVEN tried to make stuff happen at the start of that fight, but got instantly shut down.
Man, what a fantastic play by SK. 10 minutes in, they're up 2,500 gold. The Infernal Drake, they've got themselves 4 kills to 1. And look at this, 2-0-1 Volibear, 2-0-2 Sett. And just exactly what SK fans are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that was just such a good fight from them. Again, I think Trick just, you know, sort of suplexes FEBIVEN right in the front there. And, well, you can see the damage from the Haymaker as well, quite big. Actually, it was the 2 tanks that did so much damage up front at the start, because, of course, they both sort of go jumping in a very similar animation. They do AoE damage right there and can survive for a long time just unloading the DPS. So I like the decision there from SK, and at the same time, Dan gets caught out.
Yeah, he really does. Trick is going to be able to run him down with Limit, and Crownshot now joining into the fray. Trick finds the engage this time round, hits the skill shot after the Hex Flash, and is he redeemed yet with his 3-0-2 score, Endo?
Hey, I mean, we'll forget all about the E at level 1, right? That was very good stuff from them, as Jenax just trying to farm underneath the tower and doesn't have an ultimate, so can't get access to instant HP, but I feel like he's strong enough too, you know? He's got a Bramble Vest, try and stay alive underneath the tower. No one else is rotating up because Razork was sort of stranded down in the bottom lane, so now FEBIVEN is on the way, but keep in mind, ZaZee has teleport. ZaZee's just about to have ultimate. They can try to counter this.
This is going to be scary. A lot of damage going into Jenax, though. ZaZee may not be able to arrive in time. Kill is about to get secured with a perfect execution. Kobbe takes a lot of tower damage for his troubles. Dredgeline into ultimate comes out. Empress Divide buy some time. And that 2-shot barrage almost coming across. Nevertheless, kill and teleport secured at the cost of a turret, it looks like. So SK get the tower, Misfits get the TP and the kill.
Yeah, so that's a moment right there where SK were actually a little bit slow, because ZaZee tried to finish his entire recall before teleporting top, because of course he wanted to finish off the Gnasher's Tooth, which is a big item purchase for him. But that means by the time he TP's in, his top laner is already going to be dead, and that gave time for DOS to set up a nice dredge line, chunk out ZaZee, and now they lose more HP on the tower. They lose an entire minion wave and a half up there as well. So SK is still winning out on the map, but if ZaZee was willing to sacrifice himself a bit, lose the TP so he couldn't finish off his items, I think they get out without losing any players right there.
Well, maybe a little bit of selfish play. At the end of the day, it's not hugely pivotal. SK are still in a very good position. They got the second Drake of the game. They've still got a very, very healthy advantage, and they got themselves some good itemization already. The third Drake has just spawned. It is going to be Cloud Drake. It's going to be Cloud Terrain, and it's on the new patch.
Yeah, the Cloud map too. So we get almost double movement speed while out of combat here inside of the speed zone. So instead of 20%, it's 35% when out of combat. And also you get a lot more Scryer's Blooms, and those spawn around the top lane Tribush. Excellent. Thank you so much, observers, for highlighting that. So right now, what that means is you can scout the entire enemy jungle and see, hey, is the enemy jungler up here? Can we push forward? And later on in the game, it'll mean that split pushers or side laners can also get that safety without needing to rely on their team to walk in and place the vision for them.
Let me try to make an assumption here. Please do correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But Misfits ideally want some flanking options, and Misfits ideally want to come around from the sides to surprise their opponents. Doesn't this rift make that a little more challenging if SK maintaining control?
So yes and no, right? Because again, if SK are splitting up and going to side lanes, they would then in theory have control over those plants. But if Misfits are the ones going to sides, they could actually see like, oh, are there actually wards in this general area? Are there people topside? That means they get to push further forward. Then they can use the speedy shrines while out of combat, and it becomes a little bit more meaningful for them. And how I've sort of thought about these changes when it comes to like control over the game is in a close game, the side of the map that you're on, you benefit greatly from. So SK are going to benefit from the shrines on the red side, of course. Like, that just makes obvious sense. But once the game starts to get out of hand, that's where you get shut down immediately, because the rotations between lanes, when you're sieging tier 2s or when you're sieging inhibitors, will come in so much more quickly now that, quite frankly, you're going to be trying to react and fend off the pushes.
I love that, because that also means that players, especially players with tons and tons of experience and the anticipation of how long it'll take, now need to adjust to that, which is a very, very, could be a dramatic shift. Look, SK just picked up their second tower. The gold lead is only 3,500 gold before 15 minutes. That is very significant. Crownshot has got the blue build all like on the way. Frozen Fist picked up Man Immune as well as the Lucy Boots. Nash's Tooth for ZaZee, he hasn't been back for a little while, nor is Jenax. In fact, I think he's going to be fairly close towards that Trinity Force. And right now, Misfits, they need to dig themselves out of a hole. That's going to be a flash over the wall, Hex Flash, rather, from Trick. And now FEBIVEN takes a lot of damage from that Frozen Fist. I think FEBIVEN may have actually dashed back into that Mystic Shot. But how do Misfits find themselves back into this game? They're looking for an engage. And DOS simply has no support from the rest of the team. Forced to flash defensively, the Ignite is burning down. He will be able to survive just long enough, but that's definitely not going to cut it.
Yeah, I mean, you see what DOS is trying to do. Like, he sees he can pick off a person underneath the tower, but it's just FEBIVEN behind him. He doesn't have a ranged character right there. If Kobbe's there, that's a really big deal, but unfortunately won't be the case. And Razork just barely shy on the Sonic Wave right there, so we won't be able to connect onto Jenax and try to punt him back towards his team. Means SK get control of everything. So the mistake by DOS loses him not only the flash and the stopwatch, I believe, but of course, that Rift Herald 2, which should be used to break this mid lane outer turret and give SK full map control and set up for their third Drake of the game, Cloud in a minute.
And is it too excited? Is it too early to get excited in SK? After seeing how they played last week, after seeing how they're playing now, I feel like I want to be excited about SK.
So it depends the context that you're excited about them in. Because, like, yes, they are, like, very clearly better than they were in Spring Split. But then, what are your expectations for this team? I still think this team is trying to challenge for a playoff spot. And if that makes you excited, yes, get excited for SK. Are they top of the league yet? No. But as they continue to chip away at better and better teams, they will try to push themselves further in the standings and solidify themselves as a legit team here in the LEC.
I absolutely love that. And if they continue this fairly dominant lead over Misfits, the Rift Herald gets 1.5 towers. This could be one of those first steps in making a claim towards the top of the tower. I'm going to pretend Limit didn't flash over the wall and not connect the Zenith Blade. Because I'm pretending that didn't happen, it's 20 seconds till the next Dragon. SK have pushed some vision into Misfits territory, and Razork has just not been able to find a kick. Actually, nobody on Misfits has been able to find an impact play yet against SK.
And now you're seeing why, like, Lee Sin can be problematic, because if you don't have that big early game impact, well, you're just going to get outscaled by the likes of the Sett. And now, FEBIVEN FEBIVEN trying to make a play in the side lane here, doing some decent damage, but I don't think he can go for the dive.
No, not underneath the turret. Jenax is going to be able to survive. The ultimate does a lot of work. There's still a perfect execution available for FEBIVEN. He gets caught by the True Shot Barrage. And now that Razork has arrived for support, Limit will now look to hit him with the Shield of Daybreak. Sonic Wave in, Flash Kick gets interrupted by a really well-timed Zenith Blade. I think Limit predicted and anticipated that one. Now Jenax is looking for some support, but they won't have it. Tower picked up by Misfits and nothing else.
So there were a lot of things going on there, because, you know, coming into that play was like, Misfits, you don't have the items, you don't have the champions to contest for this Drake, so you need to trade for that top lane tower. Of course, Jenax takes a lot of damage, and Limit thinks he can try to save him. Now, I think SK made a mistake there by sending Limit into the top lane. Jenax was probably going to be able to walk it out, but then Limit even trying to step far forward, even though he played it nicely and got out, loses the stopwatch because he didn't have Flash. Like, if Razork was maybe a little bit more willing to go for the Flash Kick instead of the Ward Hop, then the Leona E wouldn't have actually changed that, and that could have very well been a kill onto him. So I think that was a little bit misguided from SK. They're still winning out, don't get me wrong, but these are the types of things that I want to see them clean up so that they don't lose out on the big leads they've been able to generate in a lot of these early games.
Yeah, 3,000 gold lead right now. Trinity Force was picked up, as we've already mentioned. Blasting One sitting inside ZaZee's back pocket. And as far as items are concerned, Triforce Bramble Vest coming up, you know, against the Black Cleaver on the side of Dan. Misfits are still in a difficult situation. There will be another dragon. The Soul is available in 3.5 minutes, and you have to feel that might be one of the big turning points. If Misfits can contest and fight, maybe they can buy themselves some time.
And this is a huge soul for some of the champions on SK's team. You know, people meme the Cloud Soul all the time. I don't actually care that much about the ult movement speed. That's a big deal, sure, but it's the 10% flat movement speed increase for a champion like Volibear, for a champion like Sett, whose only built-in weakness to their kit is accessing targets. So if you can just say, hey, we can actually get on top of you every fight, their stats are just better than yours. Their kits are so good at beating like players one-on-one.
Ender, you can't run away from Sett if he runs quicker than you. Yeah. That's exactly what SK are going to be hoping to do.
And look, the man's got, he's got Phase Rush, he's got like Celerity, he's got Water Wall. Like this guy, Nimbus Cloak, Hex Flash, like you can't escape from this guy.
No, you absolutely cannot. Jenax for the first Volibear of EU. 2-1-1. First Volibear top lane is what I should have said. Very impressive performance thus far. It's really been the Trick show. Trick picked up the first kill and has helped unlock the rest of SK Gaming, and Razork is actually going to hold on to that recall. Now there is some support from Misfits, but they will need to get you a little quicker to defend this tower. 5-man stack from SK Gaming. Looking at the mini-map, this is a full committal from SK down bottom.
Yeah, I don't know if Misfits are going to be wanting to take this fight right here. You can see FEBIVEN has the flank and he's trying to get into the backline, but there's an exhaust on Crownshot. You have flashes on all your players except Leona here. Misfits are just going to be trying to clear away this minion wave before they can go back out. Also, if we could throw the items back up on the screen here, FEBIVEN's items I do not like at all here, specifically looking at the Oblivion Orb for him, because Magic Resist is going to be coming through. We already see it on Crownshot. Who's he trying to assassinate? It's going to be Crownshot or ZaZee. ZaZee, of course, doesn't have Magic Resist himself yet, but with the Death's Dance, that makes it so much harder and makes, quite honestly, the Magic Pen way less valuable. This is a game where Liandry's Torment is going to be better than you because you have 3 beefy HP stacked tanks that you can be hitting, and the Ezreal also has MR, has damage reduction via the Death's Dance as well, so that purchase is quite honestly 1,600 gold that could have been much better spent in other places.
I'm very impressed by what SK are doing, and a little bit disappointed from what we've seen here from Misfits. Frankly though, SK have earned their advantages. You know,
100%.
They have found the flanks, they found the dives, they found the kills, and despite the fact Misfits have not had a reply, they are just being outplayed by their opponents right now. Let's see how they decide or how they try to come back. 1 minute to the next dragon.
Yeah, and right now looking at the map, like Misfits, like where's their vision? They have a couple wards in their bot side jungle. They're sort of worried about a Baron. You could see them pinging that on the map, trying to figure out, is there something going on up there? And SK are going to be able to play off of this fear because Misfits need vision on the Baron buff immediately because, hey, that is an option for SK. So do they go topside river? Well, in 40 seconds, Cloud Drake is going to be spawning. They're going to need wards down there too, and you can see Limit walking down, probably going to spot out that control ward and be able to knock that one out when the rest of his team comes to help him out here.
Well, that's the Gunblade already used by FEBIVEN, decides not to engage, but you can see how already the cloud map is helping Misfits just push forward, but now they've lost control, now they're being pushed backwards.
So here's what Misfits are telling themselves. They say Kobbe has his Runon's Hurricane on the Aphelios. It's winnable. Aphelios, super strong. We've seen him really carry out in fights, but you have to look at the items on the other side. SK are coming in as the very clear favorites into this one, and it is really just the Kobbe show if Misfits are going to somehow be able to pull this one off.
Oh, trick is complete to the dead man's plate. Jenax is the first one that's been jumped on here by Dan. He's holding on to his ultimate, obviously. Cloud Drake has been tagged, started, and pulled out into the river. A little bit more of a difficult engage. Misfits are now on this clock. The dragon is going down so incredibly low. Jenax is going to roll himself forward and put some damage down to DOS. The soul's picked up by SK. True Shot Barrage connects onto Dan. And that is a solar flare of note, locking up FEBIVEN. DOS gets taken out. And look at Jenax with the slam dunk. Trick isn't done yet. That's the showstopper. Misfits are done. SK Gaming have got themselves 4 dragons, 5 kills, 6 kills in the advantage. But can it get turned around? Kobbe's goes down. He gets 1 before he's chomped out of existence. A 4-for-1 and the dragon to SK.
And a quadra kill for Jenax's Volibear right there, just tearing Misfits apart. You see this one more time. Limit is the hero. This solar flare is nuts, catching out 2 members right here. Boom. FEBIVEN dashes straight into it. Limit tries to follow FEBIVEN, and now they're caught in this corridor where, again, Jenax can ult over the wall, can chase you down. You can't escape from him because he now has a Cloud Soul to back him up. His Qs are coming through like he's just flying at you. What can you, and you can see, if the items are even slightly closer, if Kobbe can somehow kite out of that, if Dan's ult comes in before, so Kobbe can create the space, that fight is potentially winnable, but they're down so much it had to be executed flawlessly, and it wasn't.
Did we hire anybody from the WWE? Because Jenax and Trick throwing down the Stormbringer and the Showstopper is badass.
And for all our balance fans out there, if you see a tank doing the same damage as Aphelios, you're not going to be happy.
To be fair, it is a very fed, well-farmed tank. However, the point is valid. I ship it. I mean, SK Gaming, 6,000 gold up, 6-101 for Jenax's Volibear, 306 for the Sett, which is being played by Trick. And if I recall correctly, that was last pick first rotation, last pick overall. Very, very impactful champions. And Limits Leona has been where he needed to be at the right time. Hasn't had the hugest involvement. 0-1-3. But importantly, the threat of his engages have time and time again at least kept Misfits sort of at arm's length.
It was that ultimate in the dragon fight right there that just wiped the floor with Misfits. They didn't stand a chance after that one right there, able to catch out a couple members from the side. And now SK very easily can continue to start up this Baron and turn off on towards Misfits because they have such a giant lead and they don't take any damage against this Baron. They're just setting up for fights.
Yeah, they are indeed. DOS will get locked down. Solo play doesn't matter, but he's killed before anything can happen because Jenax can just literally ruffle stomp anybody. Dan's going to be some trouble as his clone is knocked backwards by the flag drag Emperor's Divide from ZaZee. And at the end of the day here, this just is very, very interesting when you consider that Misfits almost beat Fnatic, where they did beat OG. SK did beat OG, and now SK have honestly really, really dominated this game. Razork is under some threat from Jenax, and Kobbe can't get in close enough. A Miracle Baron Steal might be all that's needed. That's the engage from Jenax. He's going to be able to run down Razork, and FEBIVEN is left alone to fend for himself against 3. He'll dash over the wall, and here comes Jenax! God. It's a double for Volibear, and this is just dirty. 9-1-1. Jenax, in his 4th game as a top laner on this stage, is tearing through Misfits. Now, have they bought off just a little more than they can chew? No, because that shield is gigantic. Give it to Jenax. Crownshot steals the double, the 10th kill from Jenax.
Trevor, tell me, what kind of bear is best?
A Volibear.
Yeah, not a black bear. A lot of people tell you black. No, it's Volibear, right? It's SK going to destroy
also,
the
I
base.
have no experience with bears because they are animals that don't really live in South Africa. So I have a lot of experience with them.
Okay.
With monkeys.
Clearly you have no experience with The Office either. I'm glad I'm aware of our target audience now.
No, I don't. I didn't watch The Office, neither the British nor the Americans. Sue me. SK Gaming with Baron and a 10,000 gold lead are absolutely dominating. ZaZee 007. James bonding his way through this particular performance. The super minions pouring through the middle lane. More questions with each and every single game for the Misfits camp. we already had a ton from week number 1. And now, this performance today, just not living up to par with expectations for the players, and especially after week 1's performance.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things here, right? Like, I think a lot of people are going to question the Wukong pick. The more we see of this champion, I'm just convinced that you cannot blind pick it. They spent 2 bans in the second phase trying to remove counter picks, and they've got about Volibear. Volibear's so sick right there, and Dust continues to get picked out, not just time after time in this game, but so far this season.
Yeah, Command 32, EXE not found. 0-5-1 for DOS. I also think DOS has not had a strong opening debut to the EXE this split. Has had multiple struggles. Dandan forced to use that Cyclone defensively. A Mystic Shot from Crownshot holds him in place. Now Razork is the next target. He goes down. Crownshot's like, guys, I can win too. And he finally starts joining the fray as Jenax and Trick were stealing all the fun times. But now in a 5-on-3 with a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds on Baron, they should be able to push this in.
Crownshot really just flash exhausted Razork right there so they can make sure they get the kill. SK underneath the tower. Turn the towers off because Jenax is here to throw down. SK destroying Misfits inside their base. DOS goes down again. FEBIVEN soon to follow, and with the suplex, it's another one. SK taking the game and going 3-1 on the season.
What a